Over the weekend, Congress passed a short-term agreement to keep the government funding through mid-November.
But the fight to finalize these spending bills is far from over. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp is joining us live tonight. Rachel, what is the latest on this?
Good evening, Mike and Eva. So essentially members kind of kick this down the road there. They put an extension on the deadline, which is going to end up right before the Thanksgiving holiday. But we do expect some pushback on some items that could get brought up in these spending bills to happen right before, again, they finalize those bills. So just a refresh of what happened over the weekend. Congress passed a stopgap bill on Saturday to keep the government open until mid-November. That measure included billions of dollars for disaster relief efforts, but it left out aid for Ukraine. This is something House Democrats and both Republican and Democratic senators strongly push for, but members approved this plan just for now to make sure that the government continued without shutting down. While this temporary measure doesn't include funding for Ukraine, members on both sides of the aisle say they believe they can secure additional help for Ukraine in the final spending bills, despite many House Republicans voicing their opposition to continue funding for Ukraine in their fight against the Russian invasion. Now, here's what Speaker Kevin McCarthy told us this afternoon on passing the stopgap measure.
I feel good about it. The government stayed open. We continue to do our work. I made sure Congress stayed in. I wish Senate would start their approach process. We're going to bring up 2 more appropriation bills this week. We've already gotten 74% of the discretionary spending already appropriated. We're going to finish that out like we're supposed to do. This is what the time clock allows us to do. We're focused on eliminating wasteful spending, getting the wokeism out, but most importantly, too, securing our border.
And what almost seems like retaliation for the Speaker having to rely on many House Democrats to help push forward this stopgap measure, some House Republicans are threatening to try to oust Speaker Kevin McCarthy from his speakership role. So we could potentially see another shakeup in the House in the next coming days, even weeks. Mike, Eva, back to you.
That is our Rachel Knapp reporting live from the U.S. Capitol. So much more to talk about, as Rachel said, in the next few days and weeks. Meanwhile, Pennsylvania Representatives Mike Kelly, Glenn Thompson, Senators John Fetterman and Bob Casey voted for this stopgap measure.